Hello, welcome back. This is Raymond with more tips on the cheat code for bank foreclosures and the pre-foreclosure market with lots of equity. First thing you want to do, the beginning of the process, I would recommend you start with these bank pre-foreclosures, right? And the first thing you want to do is make sure you do your due diligence before you waste any of your time, right? When I say due diligence, I mean you want to make sure the house has equity, right? Versus what's owed on the house. Because when you look at these pre-foreclosures, when you look at the ad that you can see on USALegalnotice.com, my last video, that's how you find these pre-foreclosures and bank-owned properties. Just like auction.com, you can go on there and see the bank foreclosures and foreclosures too. But with the due diligence, like I said, you want to make sure that you know what the asking price is, because normally in the newspaper ad they'll have like just a deposit like 10%, and then that'll let you know what's owed. Some of the ads have in there what's owed too, but that's what you want to find out, right? And you want to ride by there and check out the outside. Sometimes if the house is vacant, you can check with the neighbors. If the house is vacant, you can look in the windows or, walk around the property or something to get an idea. But I always figure the worst, with the inside, because the bank foreclosures, you can get on the inside, but the regular foreclosures, some of them, like the Courthouse auction properties, you can't get in on the inside, right? But you can get a lot of equity if you play your cards right and do your due diligence and go down there and bid on them. But with these pre-foreclosures, like I said, you can find them with USALegalnotice.com. But there's a lot of ways how you can contact these people. You can go door knock, which I mentioned in the last video. Check with the neighbors, the neighbor to the left and neighbor to the right. If nobody answers the door, just leave a note on the door or a door hanger, just saying, call me. I have some information for you about your neighbor, something like that, and then after you leave a note or a door hanger, you can call them up on TruePeopleSearch.com. You can go to whitepages.com. You can go to fastpeoplesearch.com. You can go to usaphonebook.com and you can get their phone number that way, right? You can call them up and just saying you just following up to make sure they know that there's an action filed on their property by the bank, and there's an auction schedule, and then don't never use the word foreclosure. Just tell them that you just calling to help them out, to make sure they know what their options are and everything, and see if they called the bank, because the bank will tell them what their options are. But like I said, you can text them, you can do a slide dial, where you can leave a message without the phone ringing. You can mail them a letter, right? But your goal is to get in touch with these people, right? And just offer them options that's available to them, to try to keep their house, because you don't want to go in there right away just telling them, hey, I want to buy your house. Do you want to sell your house? You don't want to do that. You want them to exhaust all their options first, and then they have no other choice but to sell it. But you can tell them they can check with a family member that might can loan them some money, right? Somebody, they know, like their church. They can call their current mortgage company and see if they can get a loan modification or some form of deferral a payment. You want to find out what the reinstatement of the loan is to bring it current. Of course, the loan modification, you want to see if you can get that. A lot of times though, if these people get the loan modification and then if they're interested in selling it later on down the road, that's how you can get rid of all the money that they are behind, right? The arrearages. Because once they go through that loan modification, and then you don't have to pay all those back payments that they were behind, and which is a good thing. And then you could go in and you could buy it from them for cash. You can get it under contract and assign it to somebody. You can do an arbitrage on it, which you could just be the middle person. You got the seller, and you can just introduce the buyer, and you get the money in the middle. That's your arbitrage. You can do a lease option. You can do an option. You can do a sub 2 is the loan will stay in their name, but the title will go in your name, and then you can just get the house that way. And if there's overages on there, right, you can pay the overages as long as they deed the house over to you, or you can file a notice of interest on the property or memorandum of purchase, so that if they try to go around you or take another contract, you can come up as a lien on the property so they can't sell it. You can even do a novation agreement with them, just saying what they'll get. You're just having an agreement just saying what you'll get and what they'll get at the end, right? And just spell out all the details. And again, you want to make sure that you have something filed on the property so they can't go around you or run away with your money, right? You can do a partial claim, right? If it's an FHA loan, you can ask the lender that. Forbearance agreement, you can do a deed in lieu, a short sale, you can file a UCC-1, you can do a no-doc loan modification, or you can send in a full price contract to buy the house and that'll stop the sale, right? You can do a voluntary petition. You can challenge the auction. You can make sure that all the paperwork is correct and make sure there's no errors in the paperwork. But you'll need a lawyer for that. Just like you can get that lawyer to file a temporary restraining order, right? You can try to get a hard money loan, right? You can refi with a DSCR loan. You can sell it with a realtor or sell to an investor. You can use a bankruptcy to stop the sale, right? But because you filed a bankruptcy, that don't mean you have to go through with it, right? You can sell to a family member, right? You can buy from the seller and get a contract, right? And then just go to one of these mentors, one of these meetups in the area, the investor meetups, right? You can flip it to someone there. But these are just some tips for you. And another thing too, like with the bank foreclosures, if you file that notice of interest or that memorandum of purchase so they can't go around you, right? And when the bank actually tries to get title to that property, you're gonna come up as a lien. That way you can find out who the bank is and then offer to buy the property from the bank. And then you'll beat all the competition. But I'll be back again soon with some more tips to these pre-foreclosures and bank-owned properties.